Greetings, YouTube. Today we're going to be showing off some unique things. I found some really cool stuff, and it just happened to be in a very short period of time. So we're going to stop here in the corner, and that plastic thing is a organizer. You actually hang it up like this against a wall, and you hang things in it, tools and such, to organize them effectively. So I'll hopefully be finding a place to use that, and I picked that up for a pittance. We have, this is a tool handle, which someone had rigged up as a walking staff. This down here is a little blossom, and I can pick that up in a heartbeat. And I'm thinking of turning it into a short spear, maybe with a tether. I haven't decided. I have to find a blade for it. Then we have two baseball bats. Softball bat and a t-ball bat, which I will probably use in some form of weapons modification. I'm not sure which. And I got those. I got this for like $2, and again, this bat was, I don't know, 50 cents, something like that. Then we have here, we have a prospector's pick. And this is from Made in the USA, Snow and Nellie, Bangor, Maine. It's in really nice condition. It really is. I don't know if it was ever actually used. And I picked it up for $15, which is a little more than I normally pay for tools, at yard sales and stuff. But it's in really nice shape, and I've never seen one before. And I'm like, I gotta own that. That's a fairly cool thing. Then we have a caliper, which is very nice and stiff. So I'll be able to use it to take measurements from one thing to another to compare them, which is what I wanted, and I got that for, I don't know, I made a deal with a guy, so that was basically almost free. Then we have some paraffin wax, which is designed for candles and canning, but I figure wax can always be used for different projects like lubrication and things like that. Then we have this knife here. Now I paid $20 for this, but this is real burl wood. It's got a wonderful texture to it. It's kind of a classic Scandinavian ground or Scandi ground puukko. It's not the sharpest. Whoever had this before didn't really know what they were doing, but it has a wonderful feel to it. It has a warmth to it. It's also very, very light. And I told my wife, I said, I take that out of the cabinet and I look at that and I hold it in my hand and I'm buying it. And she's like, I know. And I took it out and I held it in my hand and I'm like, I gotta own it. So I paid $20 for it, and I was quite happy with that. And here we have a very dirty, not well cared for Swiss Army knife. I picked it for $10, and I don't own a Swiss Army knife that has a lock. So for $10, and I'm gonna plan to clean it up. I think I get a pretty good deal because it's an official Victorinox Swiss Army knife. So that's cool. Then we have this bag over here. And this bag is boiled wool. It's very thick. It's a nice pattern. It's in really nice shape. Has one of those little magnetic snap things inside, so that's kind of nice. And we haven't figured out what we're going to do with it, but it's a nice bag. It's in really good shape and has a wonderful physicality to it. I love the feel to it. It's really quite nice. Then we have this rock, which I picked up for $1, and I just thought it was really cool. It's just a beach rock somebody collected. But if you were using 25mm miniatures for dioramas or things, this would make a great piece of terrain. It really would. You never know where you're going to find terrain. You got to keep your your eyes open and your imagination open. And it's just really cool looking. So I picked it up because it made me smile. Then we have this. And this wasn't cheap. It was $10. And it's the Soil Conservation Service reference mark. And it says US here, and it's got a cross in the center. And it says, for disturbing this mark, $250 fine or imprisonment. But I get the impression this was never used, because normally they set these things in granite with mortar around them. And while there is some marks here, it just doesn't look like it was ever set in stone, because it's in really nice shape. It's heavy, heavy, solid brass. My wife saw it because she's a hiker, and she hikes mountains and stuff, and you see these at top of mountains. She's like, I've got to own that. So I got that right there. And then in this section of the video, we're going to show off my best find. And this is a Ka-Bar rigger's knife. You get in there, and it's a sheepfoot stainless steel blade. Obviously, it's in slightly rough condition, but handles in pretty decent shape. That's a Marlinspike, and this is designed for people who are doing a lot of rope rigging in ships. You use this to take knots apart and help you weave, and this is designed for cutting. Obviously, it's a knife, but it's got a really thick, heavy-duty blade, and it's got a nice heft to it. It's built like a tank. It needs to be cleaned up and it needs to be properly sharpened, but I got this for $5. And I saw online that this used on eBay, it was going for $75, and new, this is going for $115. So if I clean it up, that'll be cool. Now this sheath is in kind of rough shape. I'm not going to sell this again, so I may just put some neutral shoe polish on this, see if I can revitalize the sheath slightly. But what I may do, because I actually don't need a Marlinspike, is make a new sheath so I can carry this, because this is really the kind of blade, the size and the heft I really like. So I may make a new sheath so I can carry it. Obviously keep the Marlinspike in the original sheath. I'm not going to destroy those or anything. But yeah, I'd like to actually try carrying that, because that really is a great shape. I'd never seen a K-bar in this shape before. I didn't even know K-bar made these. It was like awesome. I'm like, this is great. So in this section of the video, this is, I think, my best find. Alright, now it's time for the second section of my video. This is the media section, because these objects were all kind of large, so I couldn't fit them on one table. We have some DVDs. We have Das Boot. We have the A-Team, which I've actually never seen. The Best of Steve Martin. My wife is a major Steve Martin fan. That's from the Saturday Night Live. We have Dark City, a film I've never seen, nor did I have in my collection. And I picked it up for, I don't know, 25 cents, 50 cents. The Bridge of to Terabithia, a film I've never seen, though I always kind of wanted to. A modern telling of Hamlet with Ethan Hawke, Kyle MacLachlan, Diana Verona, Liev Schreiber, Julia Stiles, Steve Zahn, and Sam Shepard. So that could be interesting. And a nonfiction book, Why Does E Equal MC Squared, and Why Should We Care? Obviously, it's a science book. Then we have a journal, which is blank. Though the person, you did use it, like this is page 3, so they tore out the first 2 pages, and they very carefully blacked out their information. And this is just a standard ledger. My wife uses ledgers to keep track of our finances. And this is bigger than hers, but it's kind of nice. It's got a cloth cover, and it's really nice, and that was kind of cool. And it had that almost Scrooge and Marley vibe about it. You know what I mean? Old school journal, and I like that. Then we have some books here. Now I want to show you these in order. Now I went to Goodwill, and someone had obviously gotten rid of an entire weapons reference library at once. There were a lot of volumes, half of which I already own. And of the others that I didn't own, I wanted 3 of them. Now, 2 of these are kind of like the things you can find at Barnes & Noble or Borders or something. They're coffee table-sized reference books. Warfare of the Classical World and The Armor of the Imperial Rome. A little less common, that's a little obscure, but still not the kind of thing you can't find if you go to look for it. So I thought I'd grab those 2. Then I saw this, Islamic Arms and Armor, edited by Robert Elgood. And I looked at it and going, that cover, the way that cover looks, it didn't look like it was a coffee table book from Barnes & Noble. So I flipped it open, and the date is 1979. I'm going, okay, this could be worth a couple $100. So it had that academic vibe to it. And one of the things I've noticed about academic references for weapons and armor, and I've researched a lot of these things over the years, is a lot of the time they print them in really small numbers. Sometimes as little as 250 volumes. Sometimes, 500 or 1,000. But there's never many copies. And they never reprint them. It's like one shot, and they never get done again. And you're never going to find a digital copy of this thing, because it was printed in 79. And I noticed just now, as I was opening the thing up to do this video, that down here, I don't know if you can even see that, but I'm going to try. It says £60 or $120 until 8 November 1979, £75 or $150 thereafter, which I thought was kind of cool. But it does have an ISBN, so it was printed after the advent of the ISBN. And we have, it's got color pictures of historical materials, black and white illustrations, which is the kind of thing I really dig on. It's got black and white, and it's got also color about actual use. Whoops! Besides, then we have actual weapons that were used, specifics like specific styles of swords, axes in here. And these reference pictures are just beautiful, and they are both color and in black and white. And I really was quite like a whole section on bows in there, and I was like, this is a really great reference. So I bought the book for a whopping $3, and I brought it home, and then I did a search online, and I discovered that copies of this, used copies, are going for between $500 and $750, which is the best find I have ever hit at a thrift shop. Now, I'm not going to be selling this book anytime soon. I want this in my own reference library, and I would never be able to afford this on the open market. But I stumbled on it for $3, and I am so psyched. This is the best deal I have ever found. Flat out. I'm going to be really shocked. It's going to take a lot for me to outdo this particular deal. This is just awesome. And this is what I wanted to finish the video with, because it was such a great find. Islamic Arms and Armor, edited by Robert Elgood. So if anybody out there has a copy of this in their library from someone that picked it up in '79 for $60, you've got a good book. Don't lose it. Take care of it. This is in nice shape, and I'm looking forward to keeping it around, and when I'm gone, one of my nephews can sell it and make some money if he doesn't want to keep it. The other two are more traditional weapons and armor books, which I will use as reference and things like that. Obviously, this one's kind of rough shape. It's got tape and stuff on it, but I didn't care. I just wanted it as a reference book. So those are the finds I've got today, folks, and I got to tell you, that one right there is an awesome find.